boy Flex my back on the video. This boy Flex my back on the video. Today we got U.S. legendary sniper becomes a nightmare for terrorists. True story American Sniper movie recap. You feel me? We got a movie short. You feel me? Everything you need to know about me is in the link down below, man. My Twitch, TikTok, all that's in the link down below. But true story, man. It's a true story. So let's see what this junk talking about. This should look hella entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. So let's see what this shit talking about. This on a different channel. It's not even on the channel that we usually watch. But let's see what this shit talking about, man. Movie recap. Look at that. This says the snipers and those are first. He sniped him.
Don't pick it up.
No. No.
Don't you fucking pick it up.
You got to snipe the kid? Oh.
The American troops advance.
Oh, damn. He had to snipe the kid.
While a sniper and his spotter watch from a distant vantage point, tracking every movement that could disrupt the mission. A man briefly appears on a rooftop, but it's not enough for the sniper to justify taking the shot. Then, the convoy draws closer, and something changes. A woman and a child step out of the house. The lady seems to pass something to the kid, something that looks suspiciously like an explosive. The sniper hesitates, weighing the call, but the moment stretches thinner when the child suddenly starts running toward the soldiers. Many years earlier, as a boy, Chris's dad takes him out hunting regularly. The lessons come early and often, and
get exclusive Mortal Kombat 2 wallpapers for your PC.
his aim with the weapon is always flawless, earning proud nods from the old man. But the teachings go beyond the rifle. As the years pass, their father drills something deeper into both brothers. Stand up for yourselves and stand up for each other. Strength matters when the world decides to test you. The lesson sticks, especially after the younger brother gets beaten up by classmates. Though, the older one later shows up and settles the score in his own way. As the years pass, the brothers
to booty. Good God Almighty.
The older one later
This is so sad, especially the end, bro. Made you tear up.
shows up and settles the score in his own way. As the years pass, the brothers grow into cowboys, living what looks like the life they always dreamed about. One day, they return home, and Chris walks in on his partner cheating. The woman shrugs it off, claiming One day, they return home, and Chris walks in on his partner cheating. The woman shrugs it off, claiming he never gives her enough attention, which is why she did it. Later, while watching the news about explosions at American embassies across several nations, something clicks in his mind. Soon, he's standing at a base, putting in an application to become a SEAL. The following days throw him into brutal training alongside other tough recruits. Away, leaving Taya behind in tears. Soon enough, he's back on tour. As the convoy
Whoa, why?
grueling drills,
my bad,
endless
y'all.
tests, and
Tweaking my fuck.
relentless pressure follow. Before long, the men standing there are no longer just recruits. They're fully trained Navy SEALs. At a bar, the new recruit meets Taya, smart, sharp, and clearly unimpressed. He calls her beautiful, but learning he's a SEAL does nothing for her. In fact, she says she'd never marry one, calling them egotistical and reckless. Just as Chris prepares to leave, she softens and loosens up a bit. He explains he joined because he loves his country and wants to protect it. They take a few shots while playing a quick game, but the night ends badly for her. She's the one throwing up before it's over. Back at training, the recruits are put through shooting practice, but hitting the targets isn't as easy as it looks. Later that day, the former cowboy finally gets through to Taya, and soon they're hanging out. She's even more relaxed now, joking that her mom thinks she has a habit of choosing the wrong men. By evening, they're back at home, growing comfortable in each other's space. The next day at practice, Chris struggles to hit the board again until he notices an animal nearby. Without being told, he takes the shot and hits it clean. Now proud, he calmly says he performs better when the target has blood running through its veins. The next day, the devastating news of an explosion at an American tower shakes both Taya and Chris. From the look in his eyes, it's clear he's ready to do whatever it takes to protect his homeland. Days later, after she casually hints about wanting a ring, they're getting married at the dockyard, sealing their love. After she casually hints about wanting a ring, they're getting married at the dockyard, sealing their love. Right Right there, the call comes in for the boys. Their training is finally about to be put to
I was
use.
gonna say,
Taya
wait
is
until
shaken
you
by
ready
it,
to
but
give
Chris
your
reassures her
rank.
the way a husband should. Now on tour, as they enter the building to set up, a soldier talks about Mustafa, the notorious sniper who's been picking off American soldiers from 500 yards. He even claims Mustafa is an Olympian, but none of it makes sense to Chris. The moment arrives. As the kid runs toward the convoy with a grenade, the sniper takes the
Oh my
shot. The
God.
woman picks up the mission and charges forward, but before she can reach the soldiers, he takes her out too. The
Oh my god, he took her out too. That boy is wildin'.
explosion going off just short of the team.
Oh
Mission
my God.
accomplished, but it weighs heavily on him. Back at base, a fellow soldier tries to congratulate
Bro, these niggas is super thugs.
him, but Chris quietly shuts it down. He never imagined he'd have to target a
That boy
child, or even
sniping kids, boy.
start his tour that way. As the mission
Bro.
presses on and the team
Bro gotta snipe kids.
advance, Chris holds position, picking off enemies, including a man speeding toward the unit with an explosive in hand. Shots rain on the target, but it is Chris who gets a clean one, clearing the target before they can make their move. Night falls, and the patrol continues. One insurgent slips into a building just before the soldiers move out of sight, then opens fire and takes down one of the
You got
men.
him
When
out,
word
dog.
reaches Chris, the loss hits him hard. Back at camp, the soldiers praise him, calling him the sharpest eye they've got watching from above, but he doesn't let it get in his head. During another stakeout, the sniper calls his pregnant wife, who says she misses him deeply. After some light flirting, she
Is she
drops
pregnant?
unexpected news. His younger brother Jeff has been deployed to the same country. Chris doesn't like the sound of that, though he keeps it to himself. At the next briefing, the troops are told their top priority is Zarqawi, a hardened terrorist whose elimination could finally move the war forward. As they
okay,
file
that's
out,
just-
the former cowboy floats an idea. Maybe it's time he joins the ground team and becomes more useful. His superior shuts that down immediately, reminding him to stick to what he does best, sniping. The next day, after a small hurdle for the Marines, he packs up his gear and links up with the team anyway. Soon they're moving door to door again, clearing houses one after another. Eventually, they step into a home where a sheikh and his family are still living. Despite the evacuation orders, everyone else obeyed. Once the family is secured, questioning begins. Before long, the old man offers something valuable: information on Zarqawi's feared enforcer, a man they call the Butcher. Still, the sheikh isn't feeling charitable. He says the rest of the details will cost them $100,000. Back at base, the report reaches the commander. He places a call to verify the new intel, then personally leads the team back to the Sheikh's house for more details. During the ride, Taya calls with good news. The baby they're expecting is a boy. Chris lights up instantly, sharing the news with the rest of the team. But the moment doesn't last. An enemy sniper who has been watching their convoy finally pulls
Damn, it's about to get serious. Damn, fuck. Like him.
the trigger, the bullet driving straight into the driver's
God. He killed the driver.
helmet. Chaos erupts. The convoy jerks out of control as the soldiers scramble for cover, firing back in the sniper's direction, but
And them boys bit the
unable to stop the danger. Chris drops the phone in the confusion, and on the other end, Taya hears the gunfire and shouting in real time. The sound alone is enough to break her down. Out in the street, the sniper keeps
Come on, don't stress. She's stressing a little too much. She's stressing. She's stressing.
the remaining
Well, I get it why she's stressing, but come on.
men pinned, cutting off every move they try to make. In the middle of the scramble, Chris manages to reach a rooftop, only to be greeted by a chained dog that lunges at him the second he appears. Down on the ground, the butcher arrives with the Sheikh's family and makes a brutal example out of them, threatening to make holes in the man's young son. Chris wants to intervene, but the enemy sniper is too precise, locking the soldiers in place with every shot. Moments later, the terrorist carries out the threat, beginning the horrifying act while the help
Who lists a car and then tells you everything? Every modification, every scratch, every receipt, and 7
My bad for that, but that's fucked up. But don't give a flying F. Hold on. Bro, come on, bro. Hey, YouTube, bro. Fuck y'all give me, bro. Hey, bro, lock in.
to stop it, and the attempt costs him his life. Before leaving, the men issue a chilling warning to everyone watching. Anyone who speaks to the Americans will meet the
Oh, so this
helpless
shit
father
definitely-
tries to stop it, and the attempt costs him his life. Before leaving, the men issue a chilling warning to everyone watching. Anyone who speaks to the Americans will meet the same fate. The soldier then tries to attack the man at the other side, but he's no match. After the terrorists leave, the ground commander tears into the team for letting the situation spiral. He announces the operation is being shut down. Chris disagrees, believing they're walking away too soon, but the ranking officer doesn't budge. Weeks later, the unit returns home. Taya is there waiting when Chris lands, and once they're together again, they slip right back into the life they paused. During a hospital visit for Taya's checkup, the doctor decides to examine Chris as well. The results show his blood pressure is higher than it should be. He brushes it off with his usual tough act, only promising he'll deal with it later. On the drive home, he keeps talking about the war and how much good he could still do out there. Then the conversation is cut short as Taya suddenly goes into labor. Chris swerves the car around and races back to the hospital. Not long after, their baby boy arrives. Days later, Chris is glued to the TV, eyes locked on every report from the war zone. Taya walks in, trying to lighten the mood with a joke, but he's too wound up to notice, rattling on about tactics and threats. She frowns, telling him he needs to remember he has a real family too, and he's not just a one-man army from the medieval era. Soon, they're redeployed to Iraq yet again. Before leaving, Chris spots his younger brother, eyes wide with fear, unmotivated and drained from endless battles. He swallows hard, knowing he can't shield him from this world. Now, in the chopper with a colonel, the soldier is tasked to lead a strike team to eliminate the butcher. He nods firmly, noting that he's ready. During the team briefing, Mark, a soldier from the last tour, voices his reservations about the mission. Chris listens, but professionalism prevails and the team moves forward. As the door-to-door raids continue, the team enters another home and quickly secures every member of the family inside. The soldiers ask if anyone knows the butcher, but the residents deny it outright. Instead of leaving, the troops decide to stay put in another home and quickly secures every member of the family inside. The soldiers ask if anyone knows the butcher, but the residents deny it outright. Instead of leaving, the troops decide to stay put and quietly watch the neighborhood for any suspicious movement. From his position, the man behind the camera lens manages to snap photos of the butcher inside a nearby building. While keeping watch, the soldiers start talking about Chris's reputation. One of them jokes that he was the first to start calling him a legend, claiming credit for the nickname that eventually stuck and gave him chief status. Not long after, the homeowner invites the soldiers to share a meal. They accept, trying to keep things calm and routine. But
The hell they eating, boy?
owner invites the soldiers to share a meal. They accept, trying
Ew! Oh hell no! Oh no! Them boys tweet that. Them boys trip. What the fuck is that, bro? What the fuck is that?
to keep things calm and routine. But something feels off. A small detail, the way the
Nigga, what your elbow look like that?
wound
bro?
on his elbow catches Chris's attention. Trusting his instincts, he excuses himself and heads deeper into the house for a quick sweep, and the suspicion pays off. Hidden beneath the floor, he discovers a hole in the ground packed with
Oh my
ammunition.
God.
Furious, he grabs the man and gives him a choice to stand trial in an Iraqi court for terrorism or help them reach the restaurant where the butcher is hiding. Soon after,
That
the
boy got
soldiers
a
take
whole
position
bunch of-
and send the man toward the building.
bunch
He
of
knocks,
bullets in that
and after a quick
Damn
vetting, the door
balls.
opens, and that's the cue. The American forces open fire, taking down the guard and the man as well before pushing
blazing.
forward and clearing enemy
boys
fighters
coming
around
down
the
blazing.
entrance. Inside, the place is worse than expected. They discover a lifeless body hanging in chains with other severed parts arranged on nearby shelves. Then, a terrorist suddenly appears and bolts down a tunnel at the back. The team senses the trap immediately and warns everyone to stay sharp. Within moments, the yard erupts into a war zone. Bullets tear through the air from multiple directions.
Guns
The
blazing,
Americans
guns
manage to
blazing.
drop several enemies, but the pressure builds quickly,
Them boys blazing, boy. Good God, I'm out.
forcing them to shift positions. Even after relocating, they still hold the edge, especially with a sniper on Overwatch, calmly picking off fighters before they can return effective fire. Within seconds, more fighters pour in, doubling the enemy's firepower. A rocket is launched toward the American sniper's position, blasting his post to pieces. In the brief moment the chaos clears, the butcher slips out and escapes in a truck. The team leader tries to chase him, but there's no outrunning a vehicle on foot. From a nearby building, a woman who has been observing everything places a call to the enemy sniper, the same one who gave Chris trouble during the first tour. As civilians gather in the streets, protesting with the man's body, the sniper lines up a shot on Chris, but the opportunity comes too late. Back
Oh hell no!
in the United States, Chris is out with his son when the sharp whine
What? What really happened to Chris Carr?
of a mechanic's drill suddenly rattles him. He freezes for a moment before pulling himself together and paying the bill. Just then, a man approaches and thanks him for saving his life during the first tour in Iraq. The man can't stop praising him. Before leaving, he asks Chris to pay them a visit and speak to the soldiers there. According to him, many of the men, including himself, are still struggling with what the war did to them, and they could use the motivation. Back home, Taya struggles to recognize the man she married. She complains that even when he's physically present, he's like, somewhere else.
Hey, Shawty, you already knew he was doing. Like, did she not know he was doing shit? Like, am I tripping or am I tripping? I know he probably wouldn't tell her shit. But it's like she knew he was doing that shit, so it's like, come on, bro.
Entirely. Chris barely responds, focusing instead on the kids. She warns him that the war is changing him, but he simply tucks his daughter in and walks away. He warns him that the war is changing him, but he's...
God damn, that baby look fake as fuck. Y'all could have at least got a real baby for the shit. Am I tripping? That baby look fake as hell.
Responds, focusing
Y'all could even made the baby look real, bro.
Dead on the kids. She warns him that the war is changing him, but he simply tucks his daughter in and walks away, leaving Taya behind in tears. Soon enough, he's back on tour. As the convoy moves through the streets, word reaches the enemy sniper that his target has returned. The man calmly prepares, walking by a framed photo of himself receiving an Olympic medal before taking position. The enemy quickly destabilizes the team with his skills, splitting them up across the area. As the soldiers scramble for cover, the sniper finds a clean shot and drops the man standing beside the team leader. Chris fires back, but his return shots don't land. Reinforcements arrive soon after, and the wounded soldier is rushed out for treatment. When the team regroups, they decide to escalate, this time using brute force, an eye for an eye. Rolling into the town with tanks, they crush the first wave of resistance without much trouble. The soldiers then enter a building to sweep for enemies, but it turns into a trap. Gunfire suddenly erupts from nearby windows, and Mark is hit. Their return fire fails to pin the shooters down, forcing the team to pull back.
This woman in Kansas City searched her name and found $6.1 million in unclaimed money. Like, what?
Wait, you don't know about unclaimed?
Fallen soldier is brought home, where colleagues and family gather to pay their final respects. On the drive back, Taya asks about a letter the man had written before the mission. Chris answers, but not in the way she expected. He says the soldier didn't really lose his life because of the ambush. It was his state of mind during the ambush that did the damage. That response shuts the conversation down. Later, Chris visits the wounded teammate at the hospital. During their talk, the injured soldier praises him endlessly, calling him the most prolific sniper in American history. When asked if he plans to go back for another tour, Chris doesn't hesitate. He says yes. At home that night, he suddenly asks Taya a troubling question. Would she be okay if he never came back from the next tour? He even suggests she should move on and find someone else if that happens. She's stunned. To her, he sounds like a man who has already made a pact with the other world. Taya pleads with him to become the man she first met years ago, but Chris insists his duty is to protect his country. Even when she threatens that another deployment could end their marriage, he simply pulls her into a hug, and the next moment, helicopters are cutting through the skies over Iraq. Chris is back on the battlefield. The war grinds on. While trying to shake the weight off his shoulders, Chris receives grim news. The soldier he visited in the hospital passed on during surgery. The update hits him harder than he lets on. Later, from a rooftop overwatch, he scans the streets and tries calling his wife, but she doesn't answer. Just then, a car makes a suspicious turn into a nearby street. Within seconds, a man steps out carrying a rocket launcher and begins aiming it. He fires immediately, dropping him before he can launch the weapon. But the tension doesn't end there. A small boy wanders over and starts picking up the launcher. He freezes, hoping the kid won't make the same fatal mistake he's seen before. His stomach tightens as he watches.
Don't pick it up. Don't you fucking pick it up.
Then we had to shoot the kid.
Bracing for the worst. Then the boy suddenly drops the weapon and runs away. The soldier exhales deeply, a wave of relief washing over him. Back at base, during the next briefing, the focus shifts to the sniper who has been harassing their operations for multiple tours. Chris believes the man is Mustafa, but the officer leading the meeting isn't interested in names, only results. He just wants the target taken out. The team moves out and sets up their positions. Not long after, the enemy sniper appears from another direction and takes out one of the soldiers. Chris quickly shifts his angle, scanning the distance for the shooter. It doesn't take long before he recognizes the man they've been hunting. His spotter warns him that the distance, about a mile, makes the shot impossible, but he refuses to back down. Over the radio, other team members urge him to stand down and wait for reinforcements. He ignores them. In his mind, this is for the men they've already lost. He steadies his breathing, lines up the shot, and pulls the trigger. The bullet travels the impossible distance and drops the opposing sniper.
Oh my
Mission
God.
accomplished,
They got him?
but that famous shot also reveals their position. Within minutes, enemy fighters swarm
hit
the
him?
building and open fire on the team. The
Yeah,
sniper
definitely
and his
a
spotter
legendary sniper.
scramble
Good
from the
God,
rooftop and join the others inside to hold the line. Reinforcements eventually push their way into the building, but when bullets fail to break the stalemate, the fight turns to grenades, blasts echoing through the structure as the battle intensifies. Before long, the enemy begins to overpower them. With reinforcements still far out, the team on the ground makes a desperate call, requesting air support to strike their own position. Consequences be damned. In that moment, the legendary sniper realizes something inside him has finally snapped. He calls his wife and, with a shaky voice, tells her he's ready to come home. Then the missile hits. The blast cuts the line instantly, leaving Taya staring at the phone, her mind racing with the worst possibilities. The explosion throws dust and debris everywhere, turning the battlefield into a thick haze where the soldiers can barely see. As the chaos settles, air support finally arrives, and the surviving men scramble toward the
Is
aircraft.
this what he's
They're
talking
about to
about?
lift off when someone notices the sniper isn't with them. The team hesitates, and moments later, he emerges from the dust, climbing aboard just in time. He eventually returns to the States, but doesn't go straight home. Instead, he lingers alone, taking a moment to breathe after everything he's been through. When his wife calls and urges him to come home, he finally does. But things between them are no longer the same. He sits in front of the TV, absent-mindedly, while echoes of gunfire and explosions from the tours keep replaying in his head. Even during what's supposed to be a calm couples talk, he barely responds to Taya. Later, in the yard while the kids play with friends, he suddenly snaps when a dog gets too rough with his child, almost harming the animal, until his
Oh
wife
my
shouts his
God.
name to pull him back, leaving everyone stunned. Later, a doctor reminds him that during the war, he took out more than 160 men. When
he
asked
get-
if he regrets any of those actions, he answers no. What haunts him instead is the men he couldn't save. The doctor then introduces him to wounded veterans, men who survive the wars but carry the damage every day. Some have lost arms, others their legs. Seeing them shifts something in him. He begins attending their meetings, listening to their stories, and helping during shooting exercises. Gradually, Chris finds a new sense of purpose. He spends more time with his children and reconnects with Taya. The tension that once filled their home begins to fade, and she finally sees glimpses of the man she fell in love with. He even returns to the quiet life he once knew, dressing as a cowboy while still helping struggling veterans whenever he can. But that renewed peace doesn't last forever. One day, while stepping out to give a kid some shooting practice, tragedy strikes. Another veteran he's helping turns the weapon on him, and just like that, the life of Chris Kyle comes to a sudden end, bringing down the curtain on the man many called
What?
America's greatest sniper. One day, while stepping out to give a kid some shooting practice, tragedy
Yeah, it's a true story too. That's crazy. I know it's a true story. So that really happened?
strikes. Another veteran he's helping turns the weapon on him.
The veteran turned the Western. Oh my God.
And just like that, the life of
Was killed that day by a veteran he was trying to help.
Chris Kyle comes to a sudden end, bringing down the
This is him right here. Okay, Texas. Made sense. Made sense. Oh my God. RP.
curtain on the man many called America's greatest sniper. Chris Kyle's story is a powerful reminder that for many soldiers, the hardest battles begin long after the gunfire stops, as they carry the damage of war every single day. His journey from the battlefield to helping struggling veterans shows a completely different kind of heroism. But I want to hear from you. What did you think of how the film portrayed the psychological toll
That's
of
why he
war on
said
Chris and his
only
family?
'cause what
Did his
really-
struggle
what
to
really
leave the
happened
battlefield
to Kyle
behind
that
resonate
day.
with you? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you want to explore another intense movie recap, click one now on your screen.
at the
It's
end,
Dimitri's
that's
Recap. I'll see you there.
Apparently, you can go from 0 to a complete.
Damn. That was sad. Bye, man. If you didn't smash. Okay, what's up? Alright, man. I'm out, bro.